Hello, good evening to you. A home should be somewhere you feel safe and comfortable. But for Katie Jones and her 4-year-old son Mason, this couldn't be further from reality. Not long after moving into their council-owned property in Carmarthenshire, they began to experience damp and black mould. Then one night when they were in bed, part of the ceiling collapsed in front of their eyes. Katie says her pleas for help from the council have fallen on deaf ears and is urging them to help make her house a home again. Our West Wales reporter Rhys Jones has tonight's top story.
Young Mason loves nothing more than playing in the garden. And his mum Katie has strived to create a happy home for them both since moving into this council property in Llanllwni back in August 2020. But Katie's dream quickly became a nightmare during their first winter at the house, when damp and mould started appearing. She says the problems were first reported to Carmarthenshire County Council in January 2021, but claims nothing was done until her bedroom ceiling collapsed almost 2 years later.
This is where the ceiling came down. I was sat here one night and Mason come in. I think he was only 2 at the time, but Mason come in and he was stood at the bottom of my bed, harassing me for something. I was like, oh, baby, go on, just go back to bed. It's bedtime, you know. And off he went. He didn't even get back to his bedroom and I was sat here screaming because the ceiling just went, I'm going to go. And down it came.
Immediately after the collapse in October 2022, a wooden board was fitted to cover the hole, with scaffolding also erected outside the property. At the time of filming, Katie told us it had been over a year since the local authority had last inspected the property and hadn't heard back from them since. Her greatest concern has been the impact it's been having on Mason, who has a congenital heart condition.
I've spoken to multiple doctors and healthcare professionals and stuff about the situation. I've shown them the photos of the house, the state of the house, and a few of them have sent letters to the council stressing their concerns about the fact that Mason is basically being forced to live in these conditions. From what I understand, nobody's heard anything back, and I certainly haven't heard anything back, so I think it's fallen on deaf ears. He's a poorly little boy anyway. So I want them to fix it. I want them to fix it, that's all. I'm not asking too much.
They've replaced some tiles.
We took our footage to a qualified RICS chartered surveyor to get his thoughts on the condition of the property.
I got to be honest, that is pretty horrifying, and to think that people are actually living in this sort of environment is extremely worrying. Black mould can cause no end of problems with your health, and to be in that environment with this amount of dampness and mould is very concerning. From what I can see, Lewis, they've put the scaffold up, but it doesn't look like they've done anything else. I'm not privy to their investigatory methods and what surveyors they use, whether they use in-house or consultants. But somebody really needs to go out there with experience of matters like this, and it is not rocket science. This is a simple, straightforward residential defect. Diagnose what the problem is, draft a scheme of repairs, and get a contractor to carry out those repairs as soon as possible, before any more sections of ceiling fall down, before any more mould grows. This shouldn't have been left for years to be left unremediated. I can't see any logical explanation why they would do that.
We requested an interview with the local authority. Instead, Linda Evans, who's the Cabinet Member for Homes and Katie's local councillor, said in a statement, Carmarthenshire County Council recognises the delay in undertaking works at the property. It falls below the service we aim to be providing, and for this, we would like to reiterate our apology to Miss Jones as our tenant. We have made contact with Miss Jones and work has already started, and a programme of work has been agreed in conjunction with the tenant. Alternative accommodation has also been offered whilst the outstanding works are completed. As always in these cases, we will carry out a review of Miss Jones's case to ensure any issues identified are not repeated elsewhere. All Katie wants is for her home to be repaired, and now with work having got underway on the property, she hopes this will be the result she's long been waiting for.
Well, Lewis is here now. Katie there, very upset. Other people may be sitting at home tonight experiencing similar issues. What should they do in this situation?
Well, the advice will vary a bit, Andrea, depending on who owns your house then. But first port of call should be to contact your landlord in writing, whether that be in a letter or email, and allow them a reasonable time to fix the problems. Say it doesn't go well the first time, they don't answer, then you can, of course, send a second email to chase them up. But the important thing to remember here is that you should keep records of these emails, of these letters, for your safety, for your record then. So if, like Katie, you live in a council house, then you can contact the local authorities' environmental health department, inspect your home. They can then send a report to your housing office telling them what works need to be carried out. If that doesn't get you anywhere, then you could go through the council's complaints procedure. Failing all of that, then you could then go to the Public Service Ombudsman of Wales. Now, with housing association properties, it's a little bit different, but the advice is mainly the same. However, the Environmental Health Department has a bit more clout to go after those landlords and take enforcement action against them. So the key options on the table here are write to your landlord, if not, go through their complaints procedure, and if not, go to the Public Service Ombudsman. But finally, you could also take the landlord to court yourself.
Lots of options. Thanks for running us through all the details. Thanks, Lewis.